Hey everyone, welcome to today's learning session. We're going to be talking about SNARK versus STARK, part one, because I'm going to be talking about until the half of this entire presentation, the video. We're going to be talking about the module 4 from the ZK Whiteboard Sessions, SNARK versus STARKs, because this video is quite long. Okay, let's get going. So, SNARK versus STARK, by definition, SNARK is a succinct non-interactive argument of knowledge, and succinct is going to be focusing on the small proofs to the faster verification, and to make it fast there's going to be required pre-processing step. We're going to generate certain trusted setup. So this is how it is done, and the STARK is scalable transparent argument of knowledge, so it's going to be fast verification, and we're going to have no processing step, so we're going to have no trusted setup. The main reason for the succinct is try to make it proof small size and verification fast, so everything is going to be compiled into one specific detail, so data is going to be sent to verify as well. So this part is going to require some trusted setup ceremony. So SNARKs is not going to have this, so that's why it's transparent. So ZKP formula, let's talk about it. The main function, main part of this ZKP to make it is we're going to have arithmetization, we're going to have polynomial commitment schemes. Arithmetization is taking program and trying to make it a polynomial. So we have different kind of schemes. R1CS usually used for the SNARK. Rank 1 constraint systems, it takes the problem and tries to make it into algebraic circuit, and there's a problem with loops in that because everything has to be described, each step has to be described in the algebraic circuit. AR is usually in the STARK, so it's going to be algebraic intermediate representation. It tries to describe the problem into a machine state transition, so it's going to be like creating a trace table. So it's going to define the state, and it's going to have a transition function. Let's talk about poly commitment schemes. It's technically taking this polynomial and committing and sending it to the verifier. And we have KZG, it's usually used in SNARKs, elliptic curve based pairing. It generates small proofs, but there's a problem. Elliptic curve pairings are expensive for the CPU, that's why it is going to be generating it a bit slower, but the verification is going to be fast. Fry, it is usually used in the STARKs. It's based on hash function. It generates bigger proof, but since it uses hash function, it is going to be CPU cheap, and the proving size generating this proof is faster. Let's talk about air now, because that's the main part of the STARK, arithmetization part. You're going to have four steps, or maybe five, you can say it. First of all is execution trace matrix. So we're going to capture the entire history of the computation and try to make it into a grid. How this is going to be? We're going to have a grid, each row representing the state, and each column is representing for the variables. And we're going to have transition function. So the transition function is going to be applied to each variable, and then it's going to create another new state. So it's going to keep continuing. So this is designed for repetitive computation, so it's going to make it easier. Second part is going to be transition constraints. We're going to set the constraints. So we're going to be creating a polynomial for transition function, and this should check each trace has to be correct. Each state has to be used this exact transition function. So we can prove that okay, each state is correct. And then we're going to set the boundary constraints, so beginning and ending rules, so we can know that specific data has to be started, and the ending also has to be specific value we wanted. And the last part is interpolating each column. So each column has at the end of the table, we're going to have the variables, and we're going to interpolate and create a polynomial for each column. And then we're going to evaluate this polynomial in a bigger domain, so we're going to have bigger polynomial. The main reason why is because each polynomial, if there is some lie of there's a misconception, let's say if we stretch it out, if we can make it a bigger polynomial, it will be easier to catch this lie. That's the main reason behind this. And that's all. We're going to be seeing you tomorrow for the part 2 for the fries. I hope to see you tomorrow.